Hello, dear hearers. I will I will not discuss something biblical today or doctrines that where I would be expected to crack certain doctrinal nuts, but like the time when I read Dylan Thomas's "Do Not Go Gentle into the Night, Good Night," it had some religious implication, and so now I'm going to try to be different again, or to be like that time when I discussed one of my favorite poems. This is a poem that was my favorite when I was in high school in the Philippines. And I would like for you and me to pick out, after I read the poem, certain allegory, certain symbolisms, certain metaphorical expressions of the poet that could mean something religious. Let's try being such slightly eccentric, but all to the glory of God. Okay? Okay, I'll read the poem. It's called The Highwayman. The wind was a torrent of darkness among the gusty trees. The moon was a ghostly galleon tossed upon cloudy seas. The road was a ribbon of moonlight over the purple moor. And the highwayman came riding. The highwayman came riding up to the old inn door. He had a French cocked hat on his forehead, a bunch of lace at his chin, a coat of the claret velvet, and breeches of brown doe skin. They fitted with never a wrinkle. His boots were up to the thigh. And he rode with a jeweled twinkle, his pistol butts a twinkle, his rapier hilt a twinkle under the jeweled sky. It's a nice way for the poet to be expressing brilliance, twinkling, jeweled sky. Over the cobbles he clattered and clashed in the dark inn yard, and he tapped with his whip on the shutters, but all is locked and barred. He whistled a tune to the window, and who should be waiting there but the landlord's black-eyed daughter, plaiting a red love knot into her long black hair. And dark in the dark old inn-yard, a stable wicket creaked, where Tim the ostler listened. His face was whitish and peaked. His eyes were hollows of madness, his hair like moldy hay, but he loved the landlord's daughter. The landlord's red-lipped daughter. Dumb as a dog he listened, and he heard the robber say, "One kiss, my bonny sweetheart. I'm after a prize tonight, but I shall be back with the yellow gold before the morning light. Yet if they press me sharply and harry me through the day, then look for me by moonlight. Watch for me by moonlight. I'll come to thee by moonlight, though hell should bar the way." He rode upright in the stirrups. He scarce could reach her hand, but she loosened her hair in the casement. His face burnt like a brand as the black cascade of perfume came tumbling over his chest or breast, and he kissed its waves in the moonlight. Oh, sweet black waves in the moonlight. Then he tugged at his rein in the moonlight and galloped away to the west. Part 2. He did not come in the dawning, he did not come at noon, and out of the tawny sunset before the rise of the moon, when the road was a gypsy's ribbon looping the purple moor. A red coat troop came marching. King George's men came marching up to the old inn door. They said no word to the landlord, they drank his ale instead. But they gagged his daughter and bound her to the foot of her narrow bed. Two of them knelt at her casement, with muskets at their side. There was death at every window and hell at one dark window, for Bess could see through her casement the road that he would ride. They had tied her up to attention with many a sniggering jest. They had bound a musket beside her with a barrel beneath her breast. Now keep good watch. And they kissed her. She heard the dead men say, look for me by moonlight, watch for me by moonlight. I'll come to thee by moonlight, though hell should bar the way. She twisted her hands behind her, but all the knots held good. She writhed her hands till her fingers were wet with sweat or blood. They stretched and strained in the darkness, and the hours crawled by like years, till now on the stroke of midnight, cold on the stroke of midnight, the tip of one finger touched it. The trigger, at least, was hers. The tip of one finger touched it. She strove no more for the rest. Up she stood up to attention with the barrel beneath her breast. She would not risk their hearing. She would not strive again, for the road lay bare in the moonlight, blank and bare in the moonlight, and the blood of her veins in the moonlight throbbed to her love's refrain. Clot, 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 clot. Had they heard it? The horse hoofs ringing clear. Clot, 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 clot. In the distance, were they deaf that they did not hear? Down the ribbon of moonlight over the brow of the hill, the highwaymen came riding. The red coats looked to their priming. She stood up straight and still. Clot, clot in the frosty silence, clot, clot in the echoing night. Nearer he came and nearer. Her face was like a light. Her eyes grew wide for a moment. She drew one last deep breath. Then her finger moved in the moonlight. Her musket shattered the moonlight, shattered her breast in the moonlight, and warned him with her death. He turned and he spurred to the west. He did not know who stood bowed with her head o'er the musket drenched with her own red blood. Not till the dawn he heard it, his face grew gray to hear how Bess, the landlord's daughter, the landlord's black-eyed daughter, had watched for love in the moonlight and died in the darkness there. Back he spurred like a madman, shrieking a curse to the sky, with the white road smoking behind him and his rapier brandished high. Blood red were his spurs in the golden noon. Wine red was his velvet coat when they shot him down on the highway, down like a dog on the highway. And he lay in his blood on the highway with a bunch of lace at his throat. Okay, my dear hearers, this is the sacrifice of one's life for his beloved. Doesn't not ring a bell with you that the Son of God, Jesus, sacrificed his life for sinful humanity, typified by the highwayman, of course. His living was to rob other people, to grab what is not theirs. It's sinful. And because of their love, because of love, she was willing to give her life away Bess, the landlord's daughter, could represent Jesus Christ. Would you agree? And the highwayman, learning what had happened to his beloved, raises his rapier to the sky. He curses heaven, he curses God, and he rides to the west. The west standing for or symbolizing philosophy of the West, or of the civilized world. Humanity, after realizing the great sacrifice that Christ has done for humanity, they sometimes try to find reasons that their intellect can grasp, philosophical reasons. But love does not need any rationality. I don't think. Love is a force. Love is a feeling. And it binds, it connects. Even a most beautiful figure like Bess with the black hair and with the highwayman, the sinful robber humanity. And this is my analysis, critical analysis. But then let me continue, because how good this poet has done. And this is the ending of this poem. And still of a winter's night, they say, when the wind is in the trees, when the moon is a ghostly galleon tossed upon cloudy seas, when the road is a ribbon of moonlight over the purple moor, a highwayman comes riding. A highwayman comes riding up to the old inn door. Over the cobbles he clatters and clangs in the dark inn yard. He taps with his whip on the shutters, but all is locked and barred. He whistles a tune to the window, and who should be waiting there but the landlord's black-eyed daughter, Bess, the landlord's daughter, plaiting a dark red love knot into her long black hair. Isn't this beautiful? It's the most beautiful poem that I've ever come across. Bess, a beautiful lady, represents the Lord Jesus Christ. He comes and dies for a worthless humanity, sinful humanity. And yet, because of this great love sacrifice, it has become myth, legend, which makes people who reads it, understanding it, finds that the most powerful thing in the world, in the universe, is love. It can make connections with even the opposites of life, God and humanity, sinful humanity. So it has become legend. It has become a myth. And this is all that I can say in this critical analysis of the highwayman. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you can see the symbolism, the allegory, the metaphors that are used by the poet. He is really smart. You could not think that Christ would be a beautiful woman and humanity a robber, the highwayman. But that's how he has written it. And they're both give their lives, one to warn the lover, the other one mad. And yet, because of this, it becomes legend. It becomes written in the Bible that God sent His Son to redeem us. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoy it. Goodbye.